This is Sexy Funny Raw, where we chat all about the world of sex, from dating and relationships all the way to the adult industry itself. I'm Silvia Saige, and this is my perspective, answering all the questions you weren't even brave enough to ask Google. Get ready, because Sexy Funny Raw starts now.
Hey, welcome back to Sexy Funny Raw. I am your host, Silvia Saige. Joined in studio with me, of course, is my co-host, Dr. Eddie, giving us his public health perspective. Thank you, Dr. Eddie. And you guys, in studio, we have a brand new guest for this month. I have adult film star Lexi Smith in studio with us. Lexi, say hello to the people. You guys, Lexi is new to the industry, relatively new to the industry.
Yes.
And we met briefly at a Brazzers party, which kudos to you, because I've been in the industry 9 years and that's my first Brazzers party. So the fact that you walked into a Brazzers party fresh out of the gate is already wildly impressive. And I do follow your Instagram, and it is also wildly impressive. So you have really made a splash in the industry. Everyone is taking notice of you. So what brought you to the adult industry, first off?
So, essentially, I started out dancing. That was how it all started.
Stripping, ballet.
Stripping.
Okay.
Oh, ballet. I did ballet and tap
dance.
Okay?
Yeah.
I was on Broadway doing ballet. That's
right.
That was my adult industry in a full leotard, no nudity. No, I was definitely stripping dancing.
Okay, great, good.
But so I had recently gotten divorced, and essentially I got into dancing for monetary reasons. I had just gotten divorced. I went from a 2-income household to a single mother with kids to provide for and needed extra money, whatever. And I started dancing. And then I started doing OnlyFans, which was great. It was a great,
Now, is this
form of
during pandemic? What year is this? Okay.
So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
So during the pandemic, when the strip clubs closed, that was shortly after I started, all my friends were doing OnlyFans. So I was like, why don't I? Now, at that point, when I was dancing, I knew a few girls that did some porn videos, like just threw them on Pornhub.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, good for you. But I don't have the balls to ever do that. Like, just, no, I'm not doing it. I can't. Like, what if my dad sees? Like, I was so scared. I was like, I can't do it. So I never did it. And then I never did it for a short period of time. And then I did it. So then COVID happened. Everybody was using OnlyFans as their form of income.
So when you say you did it, you posted to Pornhub? That's what you did? You did the OnlyFans?
No, I just never did porn because I didn't even know Pornhub. I didn't know
your
OnlyFans
first step,
existed. But my friends I worked with, like I said, a few strippers posted on Pornhub, and I was like, y'all are crazy. What if your dad sees? What if your gram sees? Like, I don't know who's going to see it, but I'm not doing it. And then COVID happened, and everyone was like, no, just do OnlyFans and you can just post pictures. So I started with just posting pictures, and then I was just posting videos, and then it was just like, pfft.
That's easy.
I want to say downhill. It was an uphill.
It's an uphill.
It was an uphill climb from there.
It's like more like an uphill slide. It's not necessarily a climb. It's a fun
lubed.
slide.
It's lubed. You slide up.
It's a well-lubed slide.
Well-lubed slide. It was great. So I'm doing this well-lubed slide, and I'm collabing with people. I'm having so much fun, and it was way more fun than I anticipated it being.
Of course it is.
Because prior to doing any of that, I just had this fear factor about it. It was just
of sex or of porn?
Of porn, solely because I was scared of anyone I know seeing it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't porn in and of itself. Like I had dated guys and we make homemade porn. We get off to it. That's no problem.
Yeah.
But once it's online, it's like, dude, what if my second cousin sees and they tell the whole world?
And they will. They will.
Oh, no, it's already happened. It's fine.
Yeah, I was like, that will happen.
Just
absolutely.
to be very clear, my entire family knows what I do.
Okay,
now.
good.
But at the time, I was just so scared. And it's like, I think an aspect to it all was not just being scared people would see, but scared that people might judge me and think less of me for doing it, which is something I've come to terms with. But to start out, I was like, oh my gosh, people are going to judge. People are going to think X, Y, Z, blah, 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 blah.
And they are going to think those things. That is, I mean, it's a fear because it's going to happen. No, it's not even like an unrational thought, you know?
No,
like
it happens.
Yeah. Do you feel like you lost some friends or family because of it?
Oh, 1,000%. However, at the same time, I developed a better sense of self in a sense because I realized like I could look inside myself and say, why am I doing this? You know, how do I feel about this? And let's say my cousin, my aunt, my neighbor, let's say these people think of me as X, some like trashy piece of shit whore that like has issues. Let's say they think of me that way.
Yeah.
How does that affect my life? Like, are they me? Are they paying my bills?
Yeah.
Are they waking up every morning and taking care of my kids? Like, what are they why does that affect me? And
it's going to affect them more than it's going to affect you at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, it does. And primarily, I thought it would affect me because I was scared of the judgment. I was scared of
that scarlet letter.
I was scared of feeling that way. But then, after a little, you know, self-evaluation, I was just like, you know what? Am I going to allow their opinion of me to be my opinion of me? Or am I just going to be like, hey, I know why I'm doing this. Yeah. I don't think it's like, am I going to be strong enough to say, I don't give a crap what you guys say. This is how I feel. And like, if you look down on me, cool. Look down on me. Go about your life because I'm going to go about my life too.
Yeah. It's interesting though because I feel like you can have that conversation really with anything in life. You know, we just happen to choose this path of sex, but it can really be said for so many different professions. Honestly, I mean, you look at it's kind of expected for like a Indian culture or a Chinese culture that they grow up and become like doctors, you know, and they're heaven forbid that their son or daughter become a comedian instead of a doctor or lawyer. They're also having to say those things of like, fuck it, I'm just gonna have to be me for a minute, you know? Like it's not just sex work. Like we all kind of have to say that at some point. Like this is me and this is what I'm going to do. But sex work is just that extra little scarlet letter. That's what I like to call it. It's that red A that somebody likes to paint on you and like other you know? But I love that you obviously stuck up for yourself and were like, let's just do it. So how did your like parents deal?
So to be honest,
always such an interesting question because it goes differently for everybody.
So it is different for everybody. I grew up like in a strict Roman Catholic household.
Oh, wow.
Like, my mom was super strict, like a lot of strict rules, like going to church.
Do you have a lot of siblings?
I am one of 6. So
that's a lot. Yeah.
It's quite a bit. So I grew up...
Only child over here, can't even imagine.
I was one of 6 and like I grew up just in a strict household. My mom was just strict. And... so, like I said, I started dancing after getting divorced. It was for monetary reasons to begin with. And I was dating a guy who wound up calling my mom. So he knew I danced. We were dating, blah, blah, blah. We got into a fight and he called my mom and was
like rat you out.
Just so you know, your daughter's a stripper.
I feel like that happens to a lot of people that way.
So he was like, she's a stripper, blah, blah. Then he hangs up and he calls my sister and he's like, your sister's a stripper, blah, blah, blah. So like everybody's getting the call. And at this point I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose everybody. That's it. I'm done for. And so I'm really close. I have 5 siblings. And there's one sibling I'm super close to. So I found out he called my mom and 2 of my sisters. So I take it upon myself to call my youngest sister who I'm closest with. This was like within 2 days of him calling people. And I knew like everyone was going to find out. So I called her and I was like, Livy. She was like, what? I was like, I have a confession. She was like, okay. I was like, you promised not to judge me. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, I'm a meth head.
Yeah. You like give the worst case scenario and back it down with something not as bad.
She goes, oh my God. she was like, I'm sorry. Like, I love you regardless. I don't want you to go through that. And like, this was like 30 seconds of her talking. I was like, I'm kidding. I'm just a stripper. But I was like, I just wanted to like give you an example of something that could be worse, because like people think stripping is so bad, but like I'm not hurting anybody. Like meth heads are hurting themselves. I'm not hurting myself stripping. No one's getting hurt. And she was like, wow. She was like, I actually took that really lightly after that analogy.
See,
so
you
she was
eased
just
the
like,
blow.
I'm glad you're a stripper.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta go like, you know, be like, yeah, I'm really awful. Just kidding, I'm a little awful. You know, one of those. So I did that.
My dad kind of did that to me once when I was, I wanted to get my boobs done when I was in my late 20s, and I like went to my dad. And by the way, I was 26 when I got my boobs done. Just to tell you what my family thinks of me. And
so a few months ago.
Yeah, like 2 months ago.
And I went to my dad and I was like, Dad, I need to tell you something. And he looked at me and he did what you did. He goes, are you pregnant? And I was like, no, I'm not pregnant. I just want to get my boobs done. He was like, oh, thank God. He was like, okay, that I can handle. I was like, but at 26, you're like, oh, thank God she's not a mom. You're like,
mom ready.
Yeah. I was like, geez.
Ready, Dad.
Yeah. I was like, but I would prefer boobs over a child. So yeah.
Same.
Yeah. I mean, you have
I love my kids.
Fabulous set. Were those before or?
Oh my God, these are so after.
They're after?
After, dude.
These came with?
I breastfed 3 kids. There's no way my
Oh
kids
my
are
God.
looking like this
Yeah.
after breastfeeding 3 kids. Oh, sorry. Is there no... sorry, cut.
We'll see if we can blur.
There is no nudity.
We can blur that. It's
Yeah,
okay.
blur that.
We'll figure a way to do
Sorry.
it. No, but those are very impressive. And so they came with, because there's financial gain, obviously, that comes in with getting your own OnlyFans. So you welcome a whole new world of, you know, possibilities, if you will. Positivities, if you will.
Positivity. Yes.
So what would you say is like the most valuable lesson you've learned since getting into adult?
I would say the most positive lesson I learned is to always take a step back and try to understand people. And what I mean by that is that even as a stripper, I was like, I would never do porn. I'd never put myself on the internet, blah, 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 starting out. Mm-hmm. And then I started doing OnlyFans. Now I'm doing mainstream porn. And I'm meeting all these people, and there's like, there are some people that are like, do, but then you meet some people that have depth to them, and you're you're like, wow, like, we need to hear more from these people, because people in the general public don't.
They really underestimate.
I don't think they understand the depth to some of these people.
Yeah.
I think they just assume, oh, you're just a sex worker. You just don't care. You don't care about anything. You just open your legs for anything. Where it's like, if you take a second to like understand these people, you'll be like, wow, like, there's just so much to learn. And so it just changed my perspective of people in general, because it doesn't have to be the sex industry. Yeah. You could be like, you know, a trash man. You could be a janitor. You could be anybody. No matter what your job is, it's like, I don't know, I just learned to like always strive to better understand people. Yeah. Regardless of
profession or sexual
preference or whatever that might be. It's like, there's always more to a person that it's like so important to never underestimate.
Dr. Eddie actually did a study of male sex workers. So I have a question for you then, Dr. Eddie. Before you even got into doing that study, did you have a different kind of like bias of what the industry was, or like a different understanding of what you thought the industry was?
I think my first study was really focused on street sex work in New Orleans. And so it was a world I had been around, because you see it if you're out at bars and you're out dancing, like you see these things kind of happening around you, and but not really understanding like the depth of it, or like what is the driver for people going into specific things, or why are you doing it at all. And so that was one of the drivers for doing the research in the first place, and it really opened up a variety of different kind of avenues that I'd never even considered before.
So that's interesting, because when you say that it was just the sex workers, did you find that, like, I think especially when people think of like on the street sex workers, you really think of desperation being the driving motive. Was that what you saw?
I mean, in some cases, but like most industries, there's a lot of variety.
Of course, yeah.
Right? And so
Which
some
is exactly
people,
what you were saying, yeah.
Some people go into it for curiosity, for excitement. Some people do it as a survival strategy. Some people do it as a step in a direction, right? So like you would go and you'd be like a dancer at the bar first, and then the next step would be street, and then the next step would be escort. Like there's different steps. And so I found that everybody had really different reasons, because you could also have professionals, medical students, all of these different kinds of backgrounds doing it for very, very different reasons. And so I think that was the most interesting kind of outcome that I found. But it really is a thread that I've followed in a variety of different research projects, because most people, like Lexi was saying, are much more complex than we give them credit for.
Of course, yeah.
And so we like to put people in these little boxes. Oh, you're a street worker, right? You're just doing this to survive.
Right.
You were abused, but that's not the case. And it's the same in the adult film industry, where that certainly happens, and that is the case in some cases, but it's not the case for everyone. But society really likes simple boxes.
Of course,
so, sex worker, boom, that's it. That's all you
get
are,
to be.
Right? And so it becomes really difficult when there's people pushing back on that, where I'm like, well, you could be a doctor and also a sex worker. Right? Yeah. And so, not that I'm implying I am, but
But there are.
Listen, Dr. Eddie, you are a doctor.
So all of those different kind of backgrounds, I think, it's part of the human condition that we're more complex, but we like those little boxes for people. And we also like to see things in dichotomies, right? You're either this or this. You're either good or bad.
Of course.
And nothing is that simple, ever. And so it's like a false dichotomy that we like to put people in these boxes. And it even happens within friendships where, you are this type of person, this is all you do, you're always complaining, or you're always this, and that's just not the reality for anybody about anything.
But because of that exact stigma going with the adult industry, do you feel like that's impacted your like personal life? Do you feel like since you've got into the industry, like, do you date? I should have asked that. Do you have a significant other, or are you dating, and how does that impact your personal?
I've been in the industry a few years, and I'll say this. It is so hard to date. It's like close to impossible.
But do you think it's because of that? Do you think it's
I think it's because of the industry. I think the industry aside, dating isn't an issue. I think the industry makes it very hard, very complex. But I wanted to touch on something that Dr. Eddie said as far as putting people in a box. I know that like as soon as, because, the cat wasn't out of the bag right away. So it was like some people found out I was stripping. Some people found out I did OnlyFans. Some people found out this, that, and the other thing. And it's like everybody's assumption was just like, oh, you're just this broken individual. You have daddy issues. You have no self-esteem. When it's like, actually, in all actuality, like,
I'm
to be honest with everyone. Like, when I first got divorced, I went to therapy for a long time. And I'll tell you what, I don't have daddy issues.
Right.
I don't have self-esteem issues. If somebody doesn't think highly of me, I'm okay with that. I'm like, okay, you can have that opinion. That's totally fine. I think differently about myself. I just don't have, I guess I'd say I don't have the issues that everybody like assumes and projects on me.
Yeah.
But they do that simply based on my job.
Yeah.
Simply, if I had any other job, they wouldn't assume that.
Of course.
But because I'm in the sex industry, it's like, you have daddy issues. You have self-esteem issues. You have no respect. It's like...
Well, I would argue the exact opposite. You'd have to have huge self-esteem to be able to get into the porn industry. Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. I'm going to get butt naked and not have self-esteem. Like, what?
Yeah.
I'd be like...
And do the most...
No, like...
personal things onto a camera for the entire world to view if I have self-esteem issues,
From every angle.
Yeah, from every angle. And in 4D.
Right.
Real close.
4D.
Real close.
There's no blur. It's 4D.
Yeah. I never knew what my butthole looked like till somebody sent it to me in an 8x10. It was like just my asshole. Like that they wanted me to sign it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did. I signed it and sent it back. But
I want one too.
Yeah.
I get your butthole signed?
I mean, I don't know how a lot of these people get the photos that they get and send to me. I feel like they just go on the internet and just
if you're watching a video, if you're watching it on
pause frame it. Yeah. Because I get a lot of random stuff. I'm like, where? I've never seen this photo before.
Well, any film, like any video, you can stop and take a picture of it.
That's true.
So that was something getting into the industry that I didn't understand because, like, you know, I did OnlyFans for so long. It was like, you shoot a video, you do the little screenshots, and you're like, wow, that's a great screenshot. I'm going to send this. But in mainstream, they don't do that. Mainstream, you do sex photos first. So you're like doing all the positions, and I'm just like, should I help you guys with time management? Because you could screenshot the video and save so much time. But they don't do that. They're just like, no, do the positions, let's do the photos. And I'm like, okay, daddy.
They could also save on the photographer in general.
You could save time, you could save money, you could save on the photographer. But who am I?
I mean, time management on a porn set is, it is like next to...
It doesn't exist.
I was gonna say, like, it is really not even there at all, because when Cherie and I did, we just shot 2 scenes in one day. Each scene took us less than an hour. We were in and out in that house in 3 hours. 2 scenes. And it's like, right, I would have been there for 16 hours had that been for a company. Like, it just makes no sense. It does not. Get in. Film it. Get out. What are we doing? What are we doing sitting around? Like, what are we... This is crazy. We're moving lights from one place to another. Set them up. Put her on the camera.
But some of these directors have probably been thinking and fantasizing about this specific thing for a long time.
Yeah.
And so there's other people and power structures involved. Yeah. Right? So,
and I think some of these directors also think that they're fucking Martin Scorsese also. You know, like, I really think...
And we appreciate their work.
We do.
Indeed.
We do. I do love it, but I mean, I don't work for companies that much anymore because of that. Because I'm like, I am so much more efficient. I can have a photographer come over to my house, and within 3 hours, I've shot like 2 weeks worth of work. You know, like, it's just crazy.
So prior to coming here, I spent an hour and a half. I shot. It was a threesome, so it was still.
This morning, you had a threesome?
Yes.
So
it was still shots of the girl.
It's Thursday.
It's Thursday. But it wasn't for a production company, so it was
good for you. Yeah.
There were still shots of the girl.
That's why you made it on time. Yeah.
Still shots of me. And then we did a girl. Then we did a threesome. Then we did some sex shots.
Love it.
We did all these things in an hour and a half. Dude.
That's
an hour and a half. And that was like such a hot threesome. I'm gonna send it to you because you're gonna be like, I'm gonna be like, Silvia, this is
who was it with?
Angel Young and Lucas Frost.
I love Lucas. I don't know who Angel is though.
Angel, I love her.
Is she newer?
I don't know.
Okay. Oh, you're so new that it's hard to know.
Honest, guys, I'm new to the mainstream industry and I don't really know anybody.
I was the same way.
And people are like, but you do porn, and I'm like, but I don't watch it.
And
I'm not against porn. I just am the type of person, like, I get off every morning, every night, but I do it myself, and I don't need to watch anything. I think of things, and I just get off. I don't need to watch porn.
You have a good imagination.
Not against it. I just simply...
don't need it.
I just don't need it, so I'm just like, you know,
I didn't know anybody when I got into porn. I watched a lot of porn. Like, I would masturbate watching porn, but I didn't know names of people. It was so crazy to me when, like, getting into porn and people get so into it and they, like, know everything about you, and I'm like, wow, this is kind of crazy. I didn't know anything about porn people before.
So even the browsers party, I had so many people I knew like message me, and they're like, you met Silvia? And I'm like,
oh, that's so sweet.
And I'm like, no offense to you, I just genuinely don't
know people.
It's not that you're not amazing. I just don't watch it.
You're right.
And I said this to a lot of people. You and Cherie were like the sweetest, because I didn't know anybody, and I kind of just like met you guys. Tagged you. I was like
you can come with us.
Puppy. I was the lost puppy that was like, I'm following these two, and I literally just followed them the rest of the night, and they were so sweet. They could have been like, girl, who are you? Get away.
No, God, like, he knows Cherie. He knows that would never happen. We're also like the moms of every party.
You two were both like so sweet and inviting, and I just kind of like hung out awkwardly with you guys, and you're like, it's fine. I was like, I love it.
But now it all worked out. See, and now we got you here, and you really are like, I feel like you are one of like the biggest like up and comers happening. No, really. Like, how do you think that you got such a big like okay, so we didn't actually talk about it, how you went from OnlyFans into the industry. Like, how'd you make such a big pop into actual adult films?
So I was coming out to LA to do OnlyFans collabs, and then I actually I worked with Van Wild, and I was like, I love him.
Yeah, same.
Van is the sweetest guy ever. Oh my gosh,
he's great.
I literally love him.
And a great penis.
A great penis. Yeah. Oh my god, such a good penis. But
Van, I hope you're watching this.
Van, I hope you're watching. You have a really great penis. No, he knows, because every time I come to LA, I'm like, Van, what are you doing? Van, what are you doing? He's always busy. He's like, I have a shoot that day. I have a shoot that day.
Because our guys work every day.
Cancel your shoot. Come see me.
Yeah,
no, I'm kidding.
Our guys are so busy. It's crazy. Yeah.
So, I was talking to him, and I was like, I just want to do like one browser scene just to be like, I shot for browsers. Yeah. And he was like talking about, you know, he works for OC Modeling, blah, blah, blah. So then after I left, I reached out to OC Modeling. So I live in Massachusetts, and I didn't know what that looks like, because obviously most porn is in LA. So I reached out, and I was like, hey, like, I live in Massachusetts. I don't mind flying out to LA to shoot. I can't live there. And she was just like, no, that's fine. Like, we'll book you shoots when you're out. It's not a problem. And you can stay living there. And I was like, yes, I can do it. So I was like so excited, because I wanted to do it. Yeah. My only hesitation was, I was like,
can't
just like be like, hey kids,
we're moving everything.
Porn.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. And so you're happy. You feel good doing it. You get to be here part-time, basically, because you get to go home and be mom, and then you get to come here and be fabulous porn star. So
fabulous porn star. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it because I can do my mainstream shoots, and then after my mainstream shoots, I can do my OnlyFans shoots. So I can kind of come here and like bang everything out. And then go
quite
home.
Literally bang everything out.
Literally, I can bang everything out. Yeah. And then go home, and it's just like, I don't have to worry about making content. I'm like, I'm good. I already have it.
Oh, you're not even doing content at home. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I can get it all done here.
Oh, that's perfect. Like, that's a great separation of work and life. I don't even have that. I'm like, that is impressive.
I love it. I love it so much. It's great.
So we've said all positives. What do you think has been the biggest challenge so far?
I mean, a challenge for me personally.
Yeah.
I've always like been with my kids 24/7, so I think flying out to LA, I've definitely done content trips. Like I've gone to Hito in Jamaica. I've gone to like just different Mexico, like different content trips where we're shooting content, you know, elsewhere. It's always been for me, like let's say the trip is like 6-7 days, I'll go for 2 days, and I always fly back, because I'm just like, I have kids, I gotta get home to my kids.
Yeah. Time management.
And now that I'm doing mainstream, I definitely travel a little longer, and that's been hard for both me and my kids. That's the only downfall. Is it's like, you know, if I lived in LA, it would be cool, because I would be able to go to my shoots and come home and be like, hey guys, mom's home. But like, I can't do that. So that's the only downfall. And it's not too bad. It's a tiny complaint, like a very tiny, minuscule complaint, because at the end of the day, it's still an amazing thing that I'm able to, you know, provide for them the way I do, and physically be there for them the way I do. So it's like, it's a tiny complaint. It's not a big deal.
Are you finding that you had more success with the OnlyFans by itself, or now that you're an adult, you find that it really like upped your OnlyFans?
I would say doing mainstream made a huge impact on my own. Huge. Yeah. Like very big.
Yeah, just getting your name out there.
Just
more
getting
than
my
anything.
name out,
yeah.
like, and that was an aspect to me doing mainstream, was like, oh, I bet this will help my OnlyFans, and then I started doing it, and I instantly saw like a huge correlation between me, the more mainstream videos I did, and the more I was making on OnlyFans. It definitely helps a lot.
I wonder, did you notice a drop after quarantine? Because I know during quarantine we had like huge numbers for.
There was
like,
huge numbers, definitely.
Yeah, but do you think it dropped for you?
Yeah. So actually, to be honest, I saw a drop after quarantine ended, and I went back to the club because I wasn't dancing. So I saw a drop in numbers. I went back to the club, and I kind of stopped doing OnlyFans because it was like this weird drop.
We all hit it. We all hit it. We all hit the drop.
I was like, oh, like, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And so I was dancing and doing OnlyFans, and then I noticed, like, OnlyFans just wasn't even halfway what it was. So I was just like, whatever, it is what it is. And then with dancing, it's like, you leave with cash. It's really hard to like, and I've said this to other people, it's hard to like focus on OnlyFans when you can go to a club for a few hours and leave with like crazy
walk
cash.
away with cash that day. Yeah. Even OnlyFans is only paid once a week, which is great, but you know, you're still like, you know, once a week. But so I think the big takeaway from this is obviously like post-pandemic, a lot of people came into OnlyFans. A lot of people came into sex work. Not a lot of them overcame and went into adult. But I always say, you know, it's like a paid advertisement for us to go into it. So it's a big step for you, and I really appreciate it. And I'm sure all of your followers will as well. And hopefully you'll gain a lot more from this. And trust me, it is very worth the follow. I know you will be incredibly happy if you do go and follow her page. So, Lexi, tell the people where they can find you.
So my Instagram is New England _chick, and my spicy link is onlyfans.com/XOXOLexi.
Beautiful. We love it. All right. Thank you, Dr. Eddie, for all of your beautiful advice, although not too much public health advice going into this episode, but still knowledge nonetheless. All right, guys. Until next time, adios.